So everybody that is following this channel for a while knows that I've did a couple of videos on the Nacon Pro controller, the Nacon Unlimited Revolution, and I still think it's a freaking awesome controller. It really won the spot for me at the time because it's more an Xbox economically shaped controller, which I like better than the PlayStation original PS4 controllers. It had a fantastically well designed software, very intuitive, very straightforward, but also good to work with, and it really gave you a ton of options to work with. It was cross-platform, so PC, and it was also for PlayStation 4. And sometimes I just get lazy, I'm still finding the learning curve for MNK pretty steep, so sometimes just revert back to my lazy ass and work with a controller on PC. The control is really good, the Nacon, but what worked against me are the four mappable S buttons on the back. They're buttons. And I started to notice that as soon as you start to play a bit more competitive and you've got really some tight gunfights going on, that my finger either slipped off of it or it just didn't respond. There need to go to too much trouble to get that input going, if you will. Now, eventually I bought the Scuf Impact for PlayStation 4. This is PlayStation 4 only. And I immediately fell in love with the ergonomics. It's better shaped than a PlayStation 4 controller. And the positioning of the paddles were absolutely great. I've yet to find any flaws with that. Of course, it doesn't come with software. It does come with a manual mapping button. You can adjust the response time on the triggers by clicking just the button, and then you got almost a mouse click going on right there. So eventually I'm now in the process of also buying a Scuf for my PlayStation 5, but I was still searching for my Xbox and eventually also PC. So in comes this freaking beauty I bought, the Scuf Instinct controller I bought. So before we get into that, it's just the first impressions. I had some hands-on finally yesterday with the controller. It gets shipped, of course, with a beautiful case that I hardly will ever use, of course, and of course the Scuf case with some extra thumb grip for your thumb controllers, some dry hand formula, could work. And of course, a USB to USB-C cable for wireless gaming. Of course, the Nacon controller I use for PC came with a dongle because it's not automatically recognized as a controller. This is automatically recognized as an Xbox controller. There is a price difference, of course. The Nacon is shipped from $150, $180, $180, if you will. Depends on what site you are. There, of course, you can go to a secondhand site and get it maybe for $50. But my preference is never to use a secondhand controller because you never know how it's been handled and with stick drift and all those issues. And I've got mine very well designed. It's a custom designed, and the price difference is staggering. This one is $350, including the $50 premium shipment I took. Now they went for something else on the back. As you can see, they're not the standard Scuf paddles you got over there, but it's more it are buttons, but the buttons are placed outside of the controller. And I must say, I'm very happy with it because my finger is here, and when I go left, or for you left, but for me right, I take one button. If I go to the inner side of the controller, I took that button. So I've mapped it for first-person shooters. This is the B, this is the Y, this is the A, and this is the X. So it works extremely well. I was already really well. I was really impressed with these Scuf paddles on the back for the PlayStation 4. This takes it up a notch for me, I must say. Well, it's also well designed because it doesn't come with software. It's manually mapping, but because your PC recognizes it as a controller standard for Xbox, you will immediately have the options to do the dead zone and the ADS speed in your in-game itself, and that works absolutely fine. But what is handy of this controller is with the Nacon you had to adjust the dead zone and the speed of the triggers. Now with this new Instinct Pro, they've got 2 buttons on the back. Now, in the normal default situation, it works like every default controller. If you want to have more responsiveness, you just click these 2 buttons to the outside. It's a mouse click. It's just a mouse click. So ADS should. There is 0 delay anymore, and it works absolutely flawless. As said, no software. Pretty hard price tag for $350, and there is one downside I did not see. Batteries. For the love of God, it gets shipped with 2 AA normal standard batteries you can put in here. I spend another $25 on getting those rechargeable things. So I've got 2 in the docking station, 1 in the controller, so I will not run out. But for the love of freaking God, it's 2022. You pay $350 for a freaking controller, and you still get shipped with batteries. That for me was a bit of a downside, because if I take the Impact one for the PlayStation 4, there is no such thing. It just gets shipped with a cable so you can charge it. So the cable you get with it is not meant for charging, it is meant for wireless play. So my first impressions are extremely well. It's the exact same build as an Xbox controller, which I happen to like. I like the ergonomics more of the standard PlayStation 4. Always have the Xbox controllers in terms of grip and ergonomics really, really well. And I must say that the grip back on the Nacon on the side, on Nacon on the side, works really well. The only thing I am noticing on this Scuf controller is that eventually, if you can see it on that side, it already has damage of usage. Not sure how to replace that, how to fix that, but the overall quality is fantastic. And for me, the way the back buttons are placed and how they are now situated is absolutely fantastic thought over. It works really well. One big kudos to my friends from Scuf Gaming. The customer service is freaking excellent with these guys. We had some issues with shipment on Taipei because the Instinct comes from Taiwan, and the Impact one for PlayStation 4 comes from the UK. This one came from Taiwan. There were some delay, COVID, logistical issues, a holiday there. The customer service responds extremely well. I did it via Twitter DM. It's just speed, quick, and proactive, and they even gave me a small refund because my premium shipment wasn't made. It was all proactive. It was from their side, so kudos to Scuf Gaming, and that is for me very important. You know, customer service. How quick does a company respond to you, and how does it treat you as a customer is extremely important if you buy these expensive items, right? So for me, guys, it's first impressions. I just got a few hands-on games. I played some Rainbow Six Siege and some Warzone on PC and some Xbox. This thing is absolutely flawless. What Nacon also had, and which I think is really, really good, is it was a bit heavier. With Nacon, you can put weight in the back for yourself. It ships with some weights. You can put some extra weight in there. This one is pretty heavy. It's not as heavy as a Nacon if you can make it, but this one it's not as light as it seems. You know, it's heavier than a standard Xbox controller. So I like that. I like the ergonomics. I like the pedals on the back. There is no software, but it doesn't need software because it's automatically recognized in a PC, and you can do in-game the adjustments in ADS and that zone things. The 2 buttons on the back, which make it an instant mouse click for the bumpers, is absolutely fantastic. Downside, batteries. It's 2022. You know, I don't understand that anymore. Absolutely, I just freaking don't. Guys, that was it for me. I'm working on tons of gameplay from Call of Duty. I'm back to Black Ops Cold War. I'm enjoying it to the max. Siege is going really well, doing a lot of solo queuing, but I'm also once in a while with some teams left and right. And on PC, I'm making some strong progress also with my MK, so not with the controller. For now, guys, just my first shares of opinions on this new Scuf controller. We'll be back with you shortly, guys. Movement 6 over and out. Back to the madness.